All right, Coach. Big 67-64 win for your team tonight against 23rd ranked St. Thomas Aquinas. First ever win against a nationally ranked opponent at the Division II level for Daemen. Really, really hard-fought game on both sides. 10 ties, 13 lead changes. You guys end up going on an 11-2 run right about the time of the under-8 media timeout that really helped you seize control.
Well, I thought we had a bunch of guys play really well in that second half. Step up is a cliche, but I think definitely Supreme Hannah and J.J. Wilkes in particular, we kind of challenged them at halftime because we had 7 turnovers as a team. They accounted for 5 of them. I think they had made 1 basket in between them at halftime, and they both played much better in the second half. And really, J.J. hit a big 3. Soup hit some big shots to kind of start that run going. And then once they did that, Jeff Redband, Deion Hamilton kind of followed suit. I think the other senior we should mention is Alex Borges. Gave us great play off the bench, too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you specifically about him. He comes in. He did some stuff for you in this game. He ends up with 3 points and 2 rebounds in 12 minutes. People are going to look at that and go, what is that? But he did some stuff that doesn't show up in the box score, and he also he got the tying basket to tie it at 53-53 just prior to the under-8 media timeout that kind of launched you on that 11-2 run.
Yes, I think you're totally right in that he does things that maybe don't go on a stat sheet. We're not going to see on this thing that you're going to see if you watch the game, especially at the defensive end. He helps on ball screens. I thought his ball screen defense was tremendous and really helped us guard some of their guards who were very good players. Chaz Watler was preseason player of the year last year. So he's a very difficult guard. And I thought Alex helped us to guard him. He maybe didn't get as many rebounds, but he boxes out tremendously and allows other guys to get rebounds. So I just thought his defensive effort was great. The putback was a little bit of found money. It's great when you get that, but he was in there to help us on the defensive end. He did that, and he does have the ability to score some and play well offensively. He always knows his role, knows what he's supposed to do. So, really, you got to give him a lot of credit because he's hung in there. His minutes have been up and down, but like we said, if you're playing well, you're going to play more. And St. Mike's, he played very well and helped us down the stretch in that game. I thought tonight he helped us in this game too.
So he gets the stick back, ties the game. You come out of the under-8 media timeout. You said you get the back-to-back threes, I think, by Jaleel Wilkes and Jeff Redband. And then the other senior, just if you go into a little bit more detail, the guy that really drove you in the second half tonight, Supreme Hannah, he had 13 out of his 15 in the second half.
Man, he had 1 basket. I believe he's 1 for 5 in the first half or 1 for 7, and was struggling. Turned it over 3 times. Just did not play well. And we challenged the seniors especially to step up because you know what? Their senior Chaz Watler was playing great. He had 12 of their 30 points at the half, so he had almost half of their points, and he was playing. And we said, hey, you know what? If you want to have a good season, the seniors are going to have to step up, and they did. They answered the bell, and they played very well in the second half. So we're still haven't hit our stride yet, but we're getting there, and we're going to need our senior class, Supreme, JJ, Alex, Jesse, and Arif, to all contribute at different times in different ways.
Now, people are going to look at this game and say, well, Stack was missing their best player. Justin Reyes missed the game today, was dressed in street clothes on the bench. Does that matter to you?
Well, it mattered during the game. It definitely hurts them because he's a great player. He's rating player of the year. He's probably one of the best players in the country. He's an All-American. But sometimes, I was a little worried actually because I thought we were ready. We had practiced very well and we were ready to play against them with Reyes. And then when a team's real good player doesn't play, the other guys kind of lift up because they're not supposed to win now. They're the underdogs. They can play. And we've seen that with our team over the last couple of years. You've seen it when we lost to Torrance Dyke or we lost to Reef. And we've lost other guys who, hey, they were going to contribute. Nick Petroselli, they were playing very well. And all of a sudden you lose them. You say, you know what? other guys are going to have to play. And sometimes the first couple games, you're okay if they're not playing because the energy and hey, we can cover for them, and this attitude does it. And I thought they had a lot of that today. They played differently. They didn't press as much. They really tried to play us a half-court game, and it worked. And they were really successful at it. So, in the end, I think a wise man told me that at the end of the year, they don't put an asterisk on and said who played, who didn't play. We had to win. And, it would have only counted for one loss if we lost. It only counted for one win if we won, no matter who plays.
You said they didn't really show the kind of full court pressure that they normally show. You guys end up with 13 turnovers in the game, which is an average number for a game. But they came in, I think, third in the country in steals at 11 steals a game. They got just 4 today. Yep. They were 7th in the country in turnovers forced per game, almost 20.
Yes, and that's the way they play. And they did not press as much, but it's. They have a tough press to play against, but when they pressed, we handled it very well. Our turnovers were mostly in the half court against it, and I thought their coaches made a really smart adjustment. They took it off and didn't give us any avenues to score. We weren't shooting well, especially in the first half, and to try and take us out of what we do well instead in the half court, and they did that really early on.
How about the defensive effort from your team? You hold them 20 points below their average.
Well, again, I think a lot of that, we'll say, hey, our guys did a good job, but a lot of it was the pace was slower. They had longer possessions on offense. Because of their defense, we had longer possessions on offense too. They weren't giving you alleyways to drive to the basket, so we had to play a certain way, and they played a certain way. And just there were a lot more passes per possession, and we ended up, both teams ended up playing a real half-court style, and that kept the scores down.
What's the approach moving forward? Today's game concludes a stretch of 3 games over 5 days for you. You guys will get a rare weekend with no games. You guys won't play again until a week from today, next Wednesday night in Queens.
Kind of strange, but we're going to use this to focus on us and get us better. Right now, we'll take a couple of days off during this time too, or just have a lifting and stretching day. But with no school, the guys are here, so we have film work. We have time to really examine ourselves and see what we got to get better at, and learn about us. And as we do that, we'll be okay. And this can help us. I think this could really help us. A little bit of a training camp mentality. Go back to we can go a couple times a day and be really try and focus on what we have to do to be better.
All right, Coach. Well, 9-5 overall. Today's win evens you up in conference play at 3-3. So we wish you luck moving forward next week at Queens.
Thanks, Mike.